Every single day, millions of Americans over 50 are being systematically pushed toward expensive knee surgeries, painful cortisone injections, or high-priced supplements that promise to rebuild their failing joints. But what if I told you that the mainstream healthcare system and massive pharmaceutical corporations are intentionally keeping you in the dark about a simple remedy that costs just pennies a day? They have a powerful, multi-billion-dollar financial incentive to keep you dependent on temporary fixes, management drugs, and repetitive, costly clinic visits, rather than revealing a fundamental biological truth about your body. It is simply not profitable for a commercialized industry to tell you that a basic ingredient sitting right inside your grocery store could be the missing key to activating your body's natural joint healing mechanism. Instead, you are repeatedly told that once your knee cartilage wears down, it is gone forever, leaving you with a grim diagnosis of bone-on-bone pain and a future bound to a total joint replacement. That is a complete myth. And it is a myth carefully maintained to keep you spending thousands of dollars on solutions that only scratch the surface of your discomfort. Today, I am here as a medical professional to break that cycle of misinformation and hand the control back to you. We are going to look at actual, hard clinical data from major medical institutions that proves you do not need a massive bank account or insurance approval to protect your mobility as you age. I am going to show you exactly how the medical industry cleverly shifts your attention to expensive, unproven treatments while completely ignoring the biological foundation of your joint tissue. We will unpack why those heavily marketed joint formulas fail to deliver on their promises, and how this overlooked, incredibly cheap solution works from deep within your cellular matrices. If you are tired of being treated like a walking paycheck by a broken healthcare system, and you want honest, science-backed medical information without any commercial fluff or hidden agendas, please take a moment right now to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. Your active support helps us spread these critical health warnings to more people who are searching for real answers. By subscribing, you ensure you never miss these deep dives into what is actually happening inside your aging body. Let us stop silencing the physical signals of your knees with temporary band-aids and address the root cause. You do not need to work harder, accept chronic pain, or spend a fortune. You just need to send the right biological signal to your joints to let them heal. To truly understand how to fix your knee pain, we first have to shatter a massive misconception about what your cartilage actually is. Most people, and even many doctors, talk about cartilage as if it is just a dead, inert piece of plastic padding inside your joint, or a simple lump of collagen that gradually wears away like the tread on a car tire. But biologically, your knee cartilage is a magnificent, living, dynamic ecosystem. It relies on three critical components working in perfect harmony. First, you have a specialized framework made of type 2 collagen. Think of this framework like the sturdy steel rebar used inside concrete structures. Its sole job is to handle tension and resist being pulled apart when your leg twists and moves. Woven deeply into this steel-like framework is a massive network of molecules called proteoglycans and aggregans. I want you to imagine this network as a highly advanced, water-loving biological sponge. When your joint is completely relaxed, this sponge absorbs fluid and expands. When you take a step, the weight of your body compresses the sponge, squeezing the water out and perfectly absorbing the heavy impact so your bones never slam into each other. But who builds this frame and keeps the sponge hydrated? That brings us to the third and most important component, your chondrocytes. These are your living cartilage cells, the tiny, dedicated construction workers residing inside your joint tissue, whose only job is to constantly maintain, repair, and replenish the surrounding cartilage matrix. However, once you pass full adulthood and step into your 50s, the biological rules of your body begin to shift. The maintenance of your connective tissue matrix naturally starts to decline. Those tiny construction workers, your cartilage cells, become less efficient and synthesize fresh material at a much slower rate. At the same time, low-grade chronic inflammation and oxidative stress begin to accumulate inside the joint, acting like silent rust eating away at a machine. The old collagen framework that used to be incredibly bouncy and forgiving gradually becomes stiff, rigid, and far less elastic. This is exactly why your knees, tendons, and ligaments suddenly feel less flexible and become incredibly easy to overload during ordinary daily activities. Your knees are not inherently broken or cursed by your genetics. The biological factory inside them has simply slowed down, and the structural network has become brittle. Now that you understand the true anatomy of this living sponge, you can see why running out to buy generic joint supplements is completely useless if you do not understand how to reactivate those sleepy cellular workers. Let us dive straight into the single biggest illusion in the entire joint health industry: glucosamine and chondroitin. Walk into any pharmacy, supermarket, or health food store in America, and you will see entire aisles stacked from floor to ceiling with these massive bottles. They are marketed with beautiful, shiny labels promising to cushion your joints, erase your discomfort, and literally rebuild your worn-out knees. Millions of seniors take these giant pills every single morning like clockwork, spending billions of dollars globally out of their own pockets, firmly believing they are feeding their cartilage. But if you look at the actual clinical guidelines, the reality is shocking. The American Academy of Orthopedic Surgeons, known as the AAOS, is the absolute gold standard authority for bone and joint health in the United States, and they have made their position completely clear. The AAOS explicitly does not recommend glucosamine or chondroitin for individuals suffering from symptomatic knee osteoarthritis. Let that sink in for a moment. The very organization representing the top knee surgeons in the country tells us that these popular supplements lack the robust scientific backing to be recommended as a standard treatment. Furthermore, the AAOS clearly states that there is absolutely no definitive evidence showing that glucosamine or chondroitin can slow down the progression of joint degeneration or restore the cartilage that has already been damaged or lost. Why is there such a massive disconnect between what the multi-billion-dollar supplement industry tells you and what the actual clinical science proves? It all comes down to a fundamental misunderstanding of how your body processes what you swallow. People assume that if you swallow a pill containing joint components, your body will magically transport that exact molecule straight down to your knees and plaster it onto your bones. But that is simply not how human biology works. When you ingest these large, complex molecules, your digestive system treats them just like any other food. Your stomach acid and digestive enzymes break them down into basic amino acids and small peptides long before they ever enter your bloodstream. By the time those nutrients are absorbed, they are just generic building blocks. Your body does not automatically prioritize sending them to your knee joints. It might use them to repair an organ, support your skin, or fuel your muscles. Just having the raw material floating around in your system does not mean your body will automatically regenerate cartilage. While some studies might show a mild, temporary reduction in pain, stiffness, or functional improvement for a small group of people, clinical science has never proven that these standard pills can actually grow back a single millimeter of missing joint tissue. You are essentially paying premium prices for generic nutrients while completely missing the real biological switches required to truly activate your joint cells. Now let us uncover the simple $2 remedy that acts as the absolute power source for your joint factory. I am talking about vitamin C. You might think of vitamin C as just something you take when you have a common cold. But in the world of deep joint biology, it is an absolute structural necessity. Remember that steel framework of type 2 collagen we talked about earlier? Your body cannot build, maintain, or repair that framework without vitamin C. Biologically, vitamin C serves as an essential cofactor, which is basically an indispensable spark plug for two vital enzymes called prolyl and lysyl hydroxylase. I want you to think of these specific enzymes as the biological welding tools inside your cells. Their sole job is to tightly lock the collagen strands together, forming a super stable, resilient structure that can handle the daily pressure of your body weight. If you lack vitamin C, the collagen your body attempts to produce becomes completely loose, chemically unstable, and structurally weak. Your entire connective tissue system begins to fail and sag because the factory lacks the fundamental tool needed to glue the pieces together. The critical point that massive supplement companies hide from you is that swallowing raw collagen peptides or drinking expensive joint formulas is completely useless if your body lacks the internal activation tools to process them. You can buy the most expensive protein powders on the market, but without vitamin C, your cellular workers cannot build the actual joint framework. According to the National Institutes of Health, the human body is completely incapable of producing its own vitamin C, meaning you must constantly absorb it from your diet. But instead of running to the store to buy synthetic, ultra-high-dose vitamin pills that cost a fortune, the most effective and scientifically sound way to get this nutrient is through cheap, fresh food from your local grocery store. It costs next to nothing. Incorporating whole, budget-friendly foods like citrus fruits, bell peppers, strawberries, kiwi, tomatoes, and dark leafy greens into your daily meals provides the exact biological format your body craves. Consistently supplying your system with these natural sources every single day is vastly superior and safer than taking random, short bursts of high-dose pills. Your knees need a steady, reliable stream of daily nutrition to maintain the cartilage matrix, not a sudden, overwhelming shock to the system. However, I must give you a strict medical warning about going overboard with synthetic supplements. Taking massive, unregulated doses of vitamin C over a long period does not provide any extra benefits for your knee joints. In fact, it can create severe health complications. If you have a personal history of kidney stones, kidney disease, or sensitive digestive issues, megadosing on vitamin C supplements can trigger painful stone formation and intense stomach distress. You must treat vitamin C as a foundational nutritional pillar that allows your body to naturally synthesize collagen and heal its connective tissues, rather than viewing it as a magic, standalone cartilage restoration drug. It is the essential base layer of your joint health, but you must implement it safely. Now, let us talk about a highly specialized tool that actually has genuine, compelling clinical data behind it, but it operates in a way that completely surprises most people. This is called undenatured type 2 collagen, often referred to as UC2. I want to make sure you do not confuse this with the massive tubs of hydrolyzed collagen or collagen peptides that you see influencers mixing into morning smoothies. Hydrolyzed collagen is heavily processed and broken down into basic amino acids and small peptides. While it serves as a decent source of general protein for your body, the scientific evidence showing it can specifically target and fix knee osteoarthritis is incredibly weak and completely inconsistent. In fact, a strict clinical trial testing a combination of UC2 mixed with hydrolyzed collagen over 12 weeks found that it was absolutely no more effective than a completely empty placebo pill. You simply cannot swallow generic collagen powder and expect it to magically travel through your bloodstream and paste itself directly onto your worn-out knee cartilage. Instead, UC2 works through a brilliant indirect biological pathway known as oral immune regulation, or oral tolerance. It does not act as a structural building block for your joint. Instead, think of it like a highly sophisticated peace treaty for your immune system. When your knee cartilage suffers from daily wear and tear, tiny microscopic fragments of collagen break off into your joint capsule. Your overreactive immune system mistakenly flags these loose pieces as dangerous foreign invaders, sending aggressive inflammatory cells to attack your own knee joint, which rapidly accelerates the destruction of your cartilage matrix. When you swallow UC2 in its undenatured, completely intact structural form, it passes through your stomach and interacts with specialized immune tissues inside your gut. This interaction safely trains your immune system to recognize type 2 collagen as a friend, effectively switching off the hostile, self-destructive inflammatory responses inside your knee capsule. The actual human evidence for this mechanism is the strongest out of all the oral joint supplements available. A major, multi-center, double-blind, randomized controlled trial followed 191 people suffering from knee osteoarthritis. They compared 40 milligrams of UC2 daily against a placebo and against the popular combination of 1,500 milligrams of glucosamine and 1,200 milligrams of chondroitin over a full 180 days. The data was crystal clear. UC2 significantly reduced total WOMAC scores, meaning it successfully lowered joint pain, decreased morning stiffness, and drastically improved physical function, far better than the placebo, and noticeably outperformed the glucosamine and chondroitin group. Another trial lasting 12 weeks on individuals without a formal osteoarthritis diagnosis found that native type 2 collagen visibly improved knee extension angles, walking speed, and the ability to climb stairs. It provides a powerful boost to your daily mobility and joint flexibility, even though it does not physically grow back lost cartilage. The ideal dose, proven by these clinical trials, is 40 milligrams per day for at least 180 days, and you must view it strictly as a tool for symptom and movement support, not as an absolute cartilage cure. While UC2 has shown a remarkably clean safety profile across multiple trials, it is not a reason to bypass basic medical caution. If you are allergic to animal proteins, dealing with a highly complex joint disease, or taking a long list of prescription medications, you should always consult your personal physician before introducing it into your daily regimen. Next, let us look at another widely discussed compound, MSM, or methylsulfonylmethane. The actual scientific data on humans shows that taking 3 grams of MSM twice a day for a total of 6 grams daily over 12 weeks can help reduce knee pain and improve daily physical function. In a double-blind, placebo-controlled trial involving seniors, MSM successfully lowered scores for pain and physical impairment compared to a placebo. However, it did not show any noticeable improvement in joint stiffness, and the authors heavily emphasized that its long-term benefits are still completely unconfirmed. There is absolutely no evidence that MSM can grow back or regenerate missing cartilage. If you want to try it, do not expect a miracle in the first few days. Give it a realistic 8 to 12 weeks to evaluate how it truly affects your ability to walk, use stairs, and manage your daily life. Furthermore, you must watch out for potential side effects, as it can cause bloating and digestive discomfort in some individuals. If you have underlying health issues or are taking multiple prescription medications, always consult your physician before adding it to your routine. Now, let us move on to a classic, cozy dietary myth that has taken the internet by storm: bone broth. Millions of people firmly believe that drinking warm bone broth is like pouring liquid cartilage directly onto their aching knee bones. But if we look at the hard clinical evidence, there are absolutely no strong human randomized controlled trials showing that bone broth can fix or improve knee osteoarthritis. Harvard Health explicitly notes that while bone broth does provide a small amount of protein, gelatin, and trace minerals, the mineral value is actually very minor. Even more alarming, a single cup of bone broth can hide a dangerous health trap, often containing over 450 milligrams of sodium. For seniors dealing with high blood pressure, swelling, or kidney disease, consuming this massive amount of hidden salt can be highly hazardous to your health. You should never view bone broth as a specialized therapeutic cure for your joint collagen or calcium needs. If you love the taste, use it strictly as an occasional side dish. Opt for low sodium variations, and make sure you eat it alongside real, high-quality whole proteins, like meat, fish, eggs, and beans, rather than just drinking the liquid. If you want to truly protect your knee joints for the rest of your life, you need to step away from the supplement aisle and focus on what global medical experts actually recommend. The Osteoarthritis Research Society International, known as ORSI, has established clear, evidence-based guidelines for managing knee discomfort. They heavily emphasize strategies like land-based exercise, strength training, water exercise, self-management, and strict weight control. In fact, their clinical data shows that losing just about 5% of your total body weight over a 20-week period is highly effective at dramatically reducing your knee pain and improving your daily function. Think of weight loss as the most direct way to take the heavy physical pressure off your joints every single time you stand up. To complement weight control, expert physical rehabilitation recommendations emphasize that you must engage in structured exercise at least 2 sessions per week. This is not about pushing through agonizing pain or lifting heavy weights at a gym. It requires a progressive increase in your exercise load that is carefully individualized to your current pain levels and underlying health conditions. True joint care requires focusing on the whole person rather than obsessing over just one single joint. For individuals over the age of 50, your most practical and urgent priority is to build up the muscle strength in your quadriceps, your hamstrings, and your glutes. I want you to imagine these large leg muscles as the active shock absorbers for your body. When these muscles are strong and firing correctly, they absorb the heavy impact of your footsteps. When they are weak, that entire mechanical force slams directly into your knee bones, accelerating the wear and tear on your cartilage. To protect your body, you should always choose low-impact movements that do not cause sudden jarring to your skeleton. Activities like consistent walking, cycling, swimming, light resistance training, and specific balance exercises are ideal. Alongside movement, you must protect your joint health by prioritizing deep sleep, keeping your blood sugar stable, and avoiding prolonged systemic inflammation flare-ups that naturally degrade your tissues over time. If you ever feel overwhelmed by all this health advice, I want you to think of your joint care as a simple, 4-tiered pyramid of priorities. At the absolute base of your pyramid, priority number 1 is to reduce the mechanical load on your joints by maintaining a healthy weight. Right above that, priority number 2 is to build up those active shock absorbers by strengthening your thigh and glute muscles. Priority number 3 is to feed your body a solid nutritional foundation, rich in natural protein and whole food vitamin C. And only after you have locked down those 3 foundational layers should you ever consider priority number 4, which is adding targeted supplements like UC2 or MSM to gain a little bit of extra symptomatic support. Stop building your health from the top down with expensive pills and start reinforcing the foundation. While implementing these dietary strategies, you must always keep a close eye on your body's warning signs. It is crucial to understand when home care is appropriate and when you must seek professional medical intervention. If you are dealing with a rapidly progressing form of knee osteoarthritis, if you notice a visible deformity or change in your leg alignment, if you experience recurrent swelling and fluid buildup around the joint capsule, or if you suffer from severe knee pain at night that disrupts your sleep, nutrition and supplements are no longer enough. In these specific scenarios, dietary changes are merely a minor secondary support, and you absolutely must seek an early, comprehensive evaluation from an orthopedic specialist. On the other hand, how do you know if your current approach is actually working? The true signs of a successful joint care routine are highly practical. You should notice a steady reduction in overall joint discomfort, a visible decrease in morning stiffness, and a newfound ease when walking or climbing stairs after a few weeks to a few months of consistency. Conversely, clear signs that a supplement does not agree with your system include bloating, persistent indigestion, or adverse allergic reactions. Never fall into the dangerous trap of believing that swallowing a pill or a powder can completely replace targeted muscle activation, consistent physical movement, and weight management. At the end of the day, your knee pain is not an unyielding enemy. It is a direct biological messenger from your body. Do not just silence that signal with a temporary Band-Aid. You must address the mechanical root cause that forces the signal to fire in the first place. You do not have to accept chronic immobility or live in constant fear of a bone-on-bone diagnosis. To help you take immediate action tonight and reinforce the foundational layers of your joint care pyramid, I have designed an incredibly safe, gentle routine specifically for older adults. It requires zero special equipment, and you can perform it entirely within the safety of your living room using a stable chair or a wall for support. If you want to actively reinforce that protective muscular framework and relieve the heavy physical compression on your joint bones, I highly encourage you to watch the next video appearing on your screen right now. I will guide you step by step through this precise 5-minute exercise routine, specifically designed to relieve pressure, restore balance, and help fix that debilitating bone-on-bone knee pain. I will